Exquisite listening. What is that? Tell us about it. I've heard it a few times.
Yeah, so basically, there's a number of strategies that we incorporated in the book relative to communication and counseling, but it's a way to essentially make sure that the client is heard, establish trust with the client, and make sure that you are getting to the heart of the issue, and in some cases that you are going through scenarios. And Brad's written about this a lot before we got to the book, and added some of these things of he's really good about this idea of scenario planning. Okay, well, let's do the worst case scenario. Let's dive into it. What does that look like? You're going to lose your job. I had this with a friend of mine last night that was saying he was worried about losing his job. I said, well, let's go down that path. You lost it. Now what? Well, I'd have to do this and this and this. Okay, what would that look like? And so let's go ahead and kind of uncover that, what exactly it looks like, and kind of address those fears. And it's not an easy process, and it is that element of listening, which is 75% is the client talking, and 25% is the advisor being, I think, that facilitator more than anything. And I would just say too, how many good listeners do most people have in their lives? How many people of let's just say of a client base in this country have people that are really asking them about what their goals are, what their hopes are, what their fears are? Not many, right? And so if we as a profession, regardless of what our business model is, if we can be that person, to be that person to prompt, to be that person to nudge, to listen and respond, we're creating incredible value. Because in reality, with all of this stuff, this is capitalism. I mean, that's what we're talking about here with the psychology of financial planning. I mean, we've got, you have planners on this that are listening to this podcast that they just want to change the lives of their clients. That's what they want to do. They want to have a positive impact. But at the end of the day, capitalism is about relevance. And if we want to be relevant as a profession, these are the things we've got to be doing. It's not, the travel agent industry went through this 30 years ago, right? They were the ones that used to book all the tickets, from what I understand. And now you don't have to do that. So where's your relevance? Where's your relevance as a profession? Your relevance now is knowing the families that you're a travel agent for and saying, hey, I know you really like that Airbnb or that bed and breakfast rather that you had in New England. I know a great place for this year. I think it's great. I know the owners. Let's do that. Because you don't need to book the tickets anymore. And that's the same parallel that we have in planning. We've got to be better listeners. We've got to look at and address some of the challenges and goals of the clients. We've got to nudge. There's an element of coaching and behavior modification that's part of it, not from a judgment perspective, but behavior modification from, okay, we're going to do this. Now that's inconsistent with where you said you wanted to be in 10 years, right? Those different types of things.